Man, how old were we when we took that last picture?
I
Who
was wondering
knows?
that myself.
Had to have been at least 10 years. Welcome to the PanelCast, everybody. I am your host, AJ, and with me is Rich. I think that was 10 years ago at
At
the
least,
first
yeah.
Ontario Revolution Con. Uh, that's where we were at in that picture.
Yeah.
It had to have been at least that long ago.
Yeah,
Um,
10, 11 years, somewhere around there.
yeah, wow, we're old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, everybody, welcome to the show. As I said, I'm AJ. That's Richard. This week in this episode, Richard and I are going to be discussing something um, that's very near and dear to our hearts. Fritos,
Very near
chili
and dear to
cheese.
Fritos?
Yeah, near and dear
Is
for
that
me.
Fritos?
Fritos, chili cheese chips.
You know what? I was like, I hate Fritos, but no, chili cheese Fritos, I absolutely love those things.
So do I.
Those
For some
actually are
reason,
very near and dear to my heart.
I had a craving, and I went out and bought a box of assorted chips, so that to help me with my continued weight loss. Um, because
I don't
late at
I
night,
don't think that's how that works.
well, for me, late at night, I tend to go to the fridge and make a random meal in the middle of the night to eat. And so instead, I just grab a bag of chips and walk away. So instead of a whole meal, I'm just grabbing a bag of chips, munching on it, and going to bed. Um, and it's helping. I mean, I've already gone down 2 pant sizes, so so far it works. My teeth hate it. My wife hates the breath, but what do they know? They're stupid. In this episode, we're going to be talking about our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the latest show, the latest version of Spider-Man to come out. Um, I believe this is the 17th version of the animated Spider-Man, or it could be where I meant to look this up, but I had forgotten. Anyway, it is currently showing on Disney Plus, wrapping up its first season. New animation style, new voice acting, new storyline, new history, new everything, and we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
it's a complete, I wouldn't call it like a reboot or like a different origin. It's not a different origin. It's just a retelling is the best way to call it.
I think it's more of a 12th television series. Sorry, there you go. It's the 12th television series for Spider-Man. I think it's more. It kind of does. I mean, it doesn't. It does change the origin story in a way.
In a way, but like it's just I think it's more of a different universe than anything. I mean, you got that hint at the very beginning.
That's what I
So
mean. You know, it's
so it's
opening a different universe and a different story
right.
for. So, you watched it today, right? You binged it today and
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yesterday and today, yeah.
What do you think?
I was actually really impressed. I really loved what they did with the first episode, the filter they had on it, so it looked like it was a comic book or a newspaper come to life. I
Mm-hmm.
wish they would have kept that feel to it, but I understand why they didn't. It can wear on the eyes after a while. Um, I like the way they like I said, it's like you get a different origin for this Peter Parker, for this Spider-Man, but it doesn't go into a whole origin story. You just get like here's a little hint. This is what he's going through, and now like he has his power, like you know his powers are going to come at this point, and now we're in the future where he's already using them. You know,
Right.
so you're skipping all that retailing and all that other stuff. So I like the way they did that. Um, I've joked with you about a lot of the changing to a lot of the characters, but you know when you think about it, I don't I don't think it's. I started thinking about it a lot when I was joking about it, and I think what we're seeing in today's society, especially when it comes to established characters in like movies or TV or stuff like that, it's not that they're um, swapping, like you can get gender swaps, race swaps, all that. It's not that they're changing the characters as much as they're updating them, because you figure, when these comics came out, when these stories came out, of course they were primarily white, because look who was writing the stories. And when they did write about African Americans, look how stereotypical they were. Look at how Power Man was. Look at how the Falcon was. And now you have a more diverse group of writers and artists. So you're getting these tales of people with different ethnicities. So we're seeing them told from a proper angle, not how a somebody that's not having their experiences see them. So
Yeah,
it does, you know, I think it's a good thing. I think it's really weird that there's no Italians in Queens, New York, though.
how do you know? We saw. I mean, you don't know. They could have made Matt Murdock Italian. You don't know.
It's true. It's very true.
Um, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. If you look back on the storylines and what was prevalent at the time that these original characters were created, that's what their histories and their stories and their backgrounds are built to portray.
Right.
Now, in the updated modern times and the places and the locations that we live in, with the people that we live in and the environment that we're surrounded by, these stories are now taking place in the current times with the current
Right.
feel.
And you're
Yep,
talking about, especially since Marvel exists in New York, which is, it's a melting pot.
exactly.
You got everything. So I'm really liking it. And there's no, there's none of that. Nobody's really cramming it down your throat or anything like that. It's just, it
It
slides
just
in there
is.
naturally. It's just characters. And it's something that we've always joked about the Osborns, because they've always had,
They've always
because
had
we've
that
always joked about
hair.
their hair. Yeah. And now it
Nobody
fits.
knows why. Absolutely, I agree with you in every way. I started the series. First off, the opening song caught me right away.
Yeah.
I just love the bass line, and I love that it takes the original song that we grew up with and it just makes it funky.
Yeah.
And the minute it did that, and I was watching the backgrounds and the video of the intro song and seeing how in each episode it grows, the song grows more, and the intro video grows more because it shows the different titles of the Spider-Man comic
Right.
book and the different costumes he's tried up until that point. So in each episode, there's a new cover popping on to the list of books that you see, and including with and ending with a new comic book cover for the current episode that describes what the episode's going to contain.
Right.
And I think that's awesome because that's all original hand drawn art and work done. And I think that's innovative. I'm the kind of guy that hates intro songs or introductions into TV shows, opening credits, what have you.
Yeah.
I'll just skip them. But with this, I was immediately pulled in and I watched every single intro of every episode. Because I just wanted to see what it grew and what was coming up and all that. Because I felt that the introduction song and music was part of the episode, and that's what brought me into it even more. And then you're right with all the different changes as far as race and stuff. I didn't even notice, and after a minute,
Yeah. It's, I
I kind
mean,
of didn't care. It didn't really matter, it's just part
it
of the story.
doesn't matter. It just, because a name will pop up and you're like, okay, I know who this character is. Well, but it
Right.
doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. You don't look at him and be like, okay, that's not so and so. That's, and it's not.
It took me a minute to place Lonnie. Like, it really took me a minute to place Lonnie, and then once I
Yeah.
saw what was happening, I was like, "Okay, dude, I know who that is now."
And
Okay.
and the thing that got me about it is, I was thinking, when Lonnie Johnson was originally made, he was made. I mean, he was an Italian mobster,
Mhm.
for which is what the street gangs were at that time. That you know
Yeah, it was very
that the
big mob.
comic was made, that the
Yeah,
character was made. So his transition makes perfect sense for our current times. Um,
right.
and and once again, it's seamless. And I like how, I mean, we're getting a tidbit of everybody's origin, obviously changed and altered for this universe, but you get to know enough so you know who the character is and you know them at their core. And you don't sit there and get a total retelling of their entire history. You know who the character is, and this is how they get their powers or whatever sets them on their path in
Right.
this universe. And I
And you
really
can
like.
see how it's being worked in, like, to a big grander plan,
Right.
and I'm kind of cool with that. I love the whole time loop wrap up that you
Yes.
get out of first season. Like, that was just genius. Um, and that's just great writing right there.
Yeah. This
And
is this series is written extremely well. The
the
animation's
characters are
amazing. It looks really clean, really good, and it's not overly detailed, overly animated. Like it's something that is pleasing to like even a kid's eyes because
yeah,
it's simple animation, but it's very clean.
it's very throwback, classic homage, and but still new at the same time. And I
Right.
loved it. I enjoyed the especially the different episodes and the different conspiracies that's happening. I
Yeah.
love the throwbacks to the costumes, the Stinger costume
Yeah.
and all the other different, the Ben Riley costume and stuff like that. I thought that was all great.
Yeah.
Um, even the feature four costume that he was wearing for a while, like all those, they were great. Um, and how they're incorporating the MCU into the storyline as well.
Right.
Uh, this storyline takes place during the Sokovia Accords, um, in the movies, so that's what he's dealing with as well. So I think they're trying to say that the Peter Parker you're seeing. That's where I'm confused because if are we seeing Tom Holland? Like, is this the Tom Holland Peter Parker that we're seeing, or is this a multiverse difference? That's the confusion
Well,
I'm
it's
getting
it's
at this
it's
point.
obviously a multiverse difference because I mean we saw that at the very beginning with Doctor Strange.
Right.
So it's obvious a multiverse different, but I mean it's still a parallel universe. It's still going through the similarities, because obviously you have the difference with. I mean, we are in a universe that we have a younger Aunt May. This is
Nope.
very like
Yeah.
so. I think it's pretty much parallel with the MCU, but not the same universe.
Right. So, or oh, I forgot. I forgot that in the MCU, everybody forgot who Peter Parker was
Yes.
because Strange made that go away. So that's the MCU we're getting now. With this Spider-Man is a new Peter Parker that they're meeting.
I mean, that makes sense, but I mean, you're talking about well, I'm a different school and all that, so yeah, makes. I mean, it's possible. Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe he ended up erasing Peter altogether, and this is Peter's reboot into the universe, with a different story, different characters, and hmm. I'm over nerding myself right now.
the one thing I'm hoping to see more of in basically the next season is more bulldozer.
I'm anxious for Venom.
You could not just you barely catch it. It's Big E, man. You're barely getting any of them.
um, was there anything about the series you didn't like?
Um, yeah, that it's over. I mean, it's honestly no. I think it's phenomenal. It's a great telling. It like I said, I think you're gonna get people that are gonna be upset with the character differences and stuff like that. And like I've joked about it, but it's all just joking. It's everything makes sense. It's clean. The storytelling is amazing. The writing's good. The art is good. Like I really I have no complaints about it.
And it's
It does
fun.
go. It does seem like it's a little fast though.
It does with only 10 episodes. Um, I was watching it in the 3-episode clumps that they were being released at. So every time I watched it, I mean, for me, that's what, an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, and so uh, it felt fast. And then you got to wait a week for another clump, and
yeah.
now with only 10 episodes, the whole season's over. And who knows how long we're going to have to wait till the next season comes out. But I know that it did so well that it was immediately picked up for a second season. So it's coming. Um, I I I had no problems with the series except for just the 10 episodes. I wanted
Yeah,
there
like
at least
that.
20.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing goes 20 episodes anymore. Especially when it's streaming, you usually get 8. I would have been happy with 12 even, but
Yeah,
it just
well, yeah,
went so fast.
but they wrapped it up really good. They left a nice cliffhanger in there for you,
Yeah.
and, yeah. What was your favorite side character? Like, besides Spider-Man, you had all these other new characters you were introduced to.
I mean, I
What
really
did
like
you
Nico, and I'm waiting to see how well they flesh that character out. Um, like so far, we haven't really got into her background to
Mhm.
know. I mean, to know exactly who she is.
We just know that she's got the little black magic pendant there.
Right.
And what it's gonna do. In the universe, we know that she ties in with Nico from the Young Avengers, and she also ties in with I forgot someone from 2099 that you had mentioned before. Um,
She's with the Runaways.
yeah, Runaways. Sorry.
She's Sister Grimm.
Um,
So she is. I know she's somebody's daughter. I just don't remember who her father is. Like I know her daughter. I'm trying to find out. Her daughter is a or her daughter. Her father is a like a dark wizard.
right.
Um, because there was a like I've always been a fan of the character. Like she was actually drawn really cool. She was really like the first actual goth character we got back in the day. So she always just kind of intrigued me. And there's so much meat on the bone with her that and we haven't really got to know any of it other than she talks to the amulet.
Yeah, and we saw her character in the show Runaways, the short-lived, um, and failed. Which was sad. I love the mini series Runaways, or the series that Marvel had out. It was a great series with all the criminal kids who were trying
Hmm.
to turn against their parents and stuff. Um, but it came up short, and nobody else liked it. So it just, they didn't do a good job with it on live action. Which, I mean, come on, you have a little girl whose best friend is uh, uh, I can't think. What's the tiny little dinosaurs we're all afraid of now?
Oh,
Um,
Velociraptor.
thank you. Thank you. Her best friend was a velociraptor, so they can't really show that on Hulu. They tried.
I never saw the live action show. I just what you had told me about it, but
Yeah. It felt like the live action show was just below what it really could have been, and I had no aspirations to get any further higher, and so I just didn't like it. But I have to say that one of my favorite recreates in the show so far, um, Scorpion. Scorpion was kind of cool,
I'm wondering how long he will last though, because
but he's Matt Gargan,
right, but his right hand man or woman is also Scorpion.
right?
So that's why I'm thinking of uh I think there's going to be a change somehow. I like
I
what they
like,
did. I like what they did with the unicorn too.
yeah,
You know, they actually showed her like she looked like the beast she is in the comics.
and lightly touching upon the wrecking crew there for a little
Yeah,
bit. The wrecking crew is always touched upon somewhere, even in She-Hulk, they touched upon
one of
it,
my Wrecking Crew is one of my favorite teams, and
right?
like
And
we
they
just
never
keep
get any
getting
love.
teased with them.
They need to get like their own little mini series or something going on. Just imagine the movie Sabotage with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's basically the wrecking crew. Okay.
Right?
um, and I think I kind of like Daredevil. I like this little simple design. I like his look and everything about him. You
Yeah,
know, and I'm curious more about his character. I want to see more what he's got to go on, and he's got some little secrets he's not telling us either. You know, and I want to see where it goes. But I'm hoping that that is just taking us to the live action TV series, which starts here in like 3 days or a week,
yeah. It's like
March 4th. So that's coming around the corner here.
about a week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think another one that I really am liking is Doc Ock.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
number
love the
one,
classic design
number
of
one,
Doc Ock.
number one, he is the most physically accurate. Like they didn't bother changing him at all.
Right.
And but like they're nailing just the character, the actor is nailing his evil genius in the way he talks down to people, the way,
Mhm.
like that snottiness and like he's above you and like
He
they did an
immediately
excellent
dresses you
job with him.
down. It doesn't matter. He just tears you
Yeah.
down.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really liking what they did, what they've done with him so far.
And I'm still trying to picture young Harry as Hobgoblin and how that's going to work.
Yeah, that's
But they're
I
already
mean,
introducing the glider and everything. So
yeah, we've
uh,
we've been introduced to the glider. And let's not forget his let's not forget the cast of characters we have in this apprenticeship that he's in at Oscorp.
right, Amadeus Cho, like, what's up, Hulk? That was cool too. Seeing that
We got
was
a Wakanda princess, the
right.
the freaking what does he call it? The totally awesome Hulk. Is that what he is?
Yeah, and then you got the lizard.
Yeah, and you got the
Um,
lizard there.
yeah, it's-
So so like these little tidbits, these little nuggets we have everywhere in this show. It's pretty awesome.
this show is a big bag of name drop.
Yeah.
It's not name dropping left right.
I
Um,
like so it's like they've established these characters in this universe. So if they want to go there, they can, but they don't necessarily have to.
right,
You don't have to go that way with show. He could just be this could be very early on in his life and stuff like that, and leading you up to that point, and he may never turn. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many areas they can do, but if they want to explore that, they can, or maybe have a spin-off or whatever. Like
but they do
so,
show Cho at the end with what he's doing now, and
right?
yeah. So anyway, I like without giving too much away, we still want you to be able to watch this show and enjoy it. But we
Yeah,
also want you guys to throw us opposing views or agreeing views, what have you. So please shoot us an email or comments in the comment section and let us know if you guys have seen this series, what you think of the art and the writing and the voice acting, everything about it. Because if there's one thing that Richard and I like to do besides talking crap about each other, is geeking out, and with anybody within earshot, we'll do it with.
yeah.
Um, in this iteration of Spider-Man, I'm really enjoying, and I hope they stick with it because there's been a lot of times with the Spider-Man that they're working on shows, they just give up immediately, and we're forced into something else, or a contract comes up, or something changes, you know. But I hope they stick with this version for at least 3 seasons, and we can see where it goes. But
A lot of the animated Spider-Man series, honestly, I don't like. I'm just like, it's too much. I know what it is.
it's
It's the same old hat, and this is different.
too
I really,
childlike.
Yeah,
it's more like it's for babies or young adults and stuff, and that's great. But this one appeals to the kid in me that read these books for some reason,
yeah.
and and I enjoy it. Um, Disney Plus, the first season's already out there. Please go check it out and let us know what you think. In the meantime, anything else you're working on, Richard?
Um, a billion things. I
I
have.
Go ahead.
I am supposed to be recording later on this evening. Knock on knock on that
Nice.
little strip of wood I have right there. Um, Supposed to be recording with Joel from Fictional Studios to get back to doing our customization classes. This time they'll be just strictly be offered online in the form of a podcast. Those are going to be on the SKN YouTube. Also, this week we should be recording our first episode of the Tribunal, which is the GI Joe centric podcast that I'm doing with Alexander Storm, and yeah, a billion other things.
Rich is everywhere.
Trying
I'm
to
here. I'm just here. So
working on building this Storm model.
As you can see in the background, in case you haven't seen any of the other videos that I've done, I am a big blockies addict now, and I went backwards. So I started with the last box, which is box 6, and now this is box 1. I've gotten all the boxes in between. So uh, this box has 9 mystery figures in it. Uh, the mystery now being if I get the chase or not, and that mystery is solved. I never get the chase when I order these things. So solved. The question now is,
No, you're
have
gonna
I?
end up. What you're gonna do is you're gonna end up getting a chase of a character you don't really care that much about.
Uh, yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. I care for all the Transformers equally, as you can tell by the. I counted the other day, Richard. I counted 83 Optimus Primes that I have.
Jeez,
Just Optimus Primes. I didn't count Nemesis Primes. I didn't count Omega Primes or any of the other Primes. Just Optimus Primes. 83.
I have one.
Can I have it?
No, you can buy it. I have a G1. That's it.
Oh, I have that one.
uh,
That's all I've been doing lately. I was out for a little while because I was in a lot of pain and injured. But
yeah, how's your
hopefully,
back doing?
uh, I mean, I've moved from the bed to the chair. I have not changed shirts yet, but I've moved.
Well, you know, the
uh,
ability to move is an upgrade. So
right at this rate, it's not too bad. It's getting better. Um, so now that I'm mobile and better, we'll have more shows and more stuff coming back at you. So that should be cool. I'm excited because March 15th, we haven't, I should be announcing it this week. We should be announcing it. We're having the live draw and we're going to be doing the March of Madness and to celebrate the St. Patrick's Day. So we'll all be streaming a live draw where we're all going to draw the leprechauns and them parting and doing the most weird, random gremlin style stuff. And I want to invite everybody to please tune into that show. March 15th between 1 and 4. I'll make the announcement soon so you guys can see it and subscribe to it and be reminded of it. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank everybody. Thanks, Richard, for this 30-minute episode. Quick, sweet, nice. We'll keep
right.
this trying to go.
Well,
Um,
usually we have a bad habit of yammering on. So
don't get started.
I mean, we could always talk about wrestling.
Oh man, I watched Raw last night.
Raw?
Not the Raw from this night, but the Raw from last night.
Did I see Raw from last week?
'Cause I wanted to watch Penta versus
Oh, versus Pete Dunne? Is that the one?
yeah, yeah. Poor Pete Dunne.
Yeah. I'm hoping this is just them finding a way to be able to. I mean, he doesn't even need to be repackaged, but he needs like to change his focus and everything. I know this has to do with Penta and Kaiser more than anything, but Pete Dunne's been a whipping boy for a little while, and he's one of the best that they got going. So
A
I hate
lot
to
of
see
them
that
have.
happen to him.
A lot of people have been what I feel upgraded to ultimate jobber. And what that means isn't that they job out to everybody and they're bad. It means that they're so good that their job is to make other people look good by giving them their A game and then losing to them, putting them over uh, in ways that they can because they're talent. I feel that that's how Finn
Yeah, those,
Balor has been used at some point. Santos
that,
Escobar and other wrestlers are being used, including Pete Dunne.
yeah, those are what you call utility players.
Right,
They that's what forever like Sean Waltman was, and they're
right.
they're made to they're like they're there to test people to see if they're ready to go to the up to that next level.
And that's what John Cena was for a while. Like everybody coming from any big name coming from NXT had to go through John Cena before they were in the WWE. Kevin Owens and what have you, those matches. And so,
Yeah, when he was the U.S. champion.
yeah, so that's what it feels like now when I'm watching WWE. And same with AEW too. I hate to see these amazing talents just putting over other people when they themselves should be put over. You
The
know,
AEW's problem, or in my opinion, we got to start saying this correctly. I really can't stand how everybody's, well, this is the problem with this and this is nothing's absolute. That's just your opinion. In my
right.
opinion, AEW has, that's one thing they have too many of, is those mid carders.
Hmm.
Their roster seems to be a little bit overstacked with those people, and it kind of impedes the growth of the company a bit. But they've been not renewing people's contract, letting people like they're talking a lot about Ricky Starks going, Miro not returning, and then you get Malachi Black, and like these are huge hits in a lot of people's eyes, but are they really, when they're being replaced with, you got Mike Bailey coming in,
Right.
Speedball Bailey, you have Josh Alexander is supposed to be coming in, you have Gabe Kidd
The kid
in, so
started, yeah.
they're doing which is more, it's more into the AEW style. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think we have to. They're still, the company's only 5 years old. They're finding their footing. They've done a lot better with the storytelling. Um, so they tend to streamline things so they're not so oversaturated. Not every show's super bloated anymore.
Right.
So, I think they're coming a long way. It's a lot more. It's been a lot more entertaining the last few weeks than it has in months.
The
So,
only problem, the problems that I'm having that I watch, I'm feeling with both shows is that when they switched over to the streaming option of like Max and Netflix, respectively, on both sides, they both switched to this mobile camera type angle where there's hardly a hard cam anymore, and there's more moving cameras taking different shots, and even some of the drone cams being used,
yeah,
and they've all gone, especially with Raw. Raw was a big shock for me to see it, where they're doing the small stadium tours, the smaller uh, tours, where the audience is closer together and the ramp is not as far away from the ring and the ring.
No,
You're
Raw
gonna
just
say that's
looks that
not how
way
it was
because
last week?
Raw just looks that way because they are that overpacked. They are
Not last
closer and
week.
everything, but it's not. They're not small arenas. They scaled down their sets and everything to fit more people in. It's
Right.
wild. Like they get rid of the Trons and stuff so they could put more seats. Like it's crazy. But yeah, I think scaling it down for AEW, it looks good.
Well, what I'm trying to say, so like the one I watched last week, it didn't feel that way because it took them
Right.
2 minutes, less than a minute to walk to the ring, and there's still cement and stuff there. The point I'm trying to make is when you have it like that, you're trying to make it into more of a Greco-Roman style attention set, to where the crowds are kind of closer and so you can fit more people in, but you're also more focused on the wrestling and what's happening. Now,
Right.
unfortunately for that, you're getting closer camera shots and you're getting tighter camera angles, which are showing the not quite contact of the hits and the kicks. And like when the other day when what's his name? Who's the champ? The lightweight champ on AEW that just won the Luchador. Um,
Commander.
he Yeah, he came into the ring and jumped on the top rope and then jumped off the top rope to do a drop kick, muscle drop kick on the Beast Mortos. And well, he forgot to go forward. He just went up. And so when he came down, he like pushed out his feet, didn't quite hit Mortis, and then landed on his ass, and Mortis had to pretend to fly. Because
Yeah.
the camera was so close, you saw that. And so that's the only problem that I see having is because it feels like now there's more pressure on the wrestlers to try and make it look more realistic.
Well, that's a well. Number one, that's a problem with luchadors in general. Um,
But it wasn't luchadors like during the what I had other places, other
no,
matches I had known.
I'm just saying that that is one problem you will predominantly see with luchadors a lot.
Right, right,
It's the way luchador wrestling is, or lucha libre wrestling is. But yeah, when you get tighter shots, it definitely exposes if you're working tight or not, and a lot of people don't work as tight as they used to.
right.
Like
And I especially noticed it during a lot of the women's matches on Raw because the a lot of the veterans weren't coming in as close contact as the newer kids were because I
yeah,
think the newer kids are used to working with each other in performance and they know what they can get away with. And the older vets are still working on the old system of the further away camera where they can get away with other stuff, not being as
well,
tight.
it's like they used to say. I think it was Mick Foley had said about Terry Funk. He said for years, you know, forever, Terry Funk had the best looking punches in professional wrestling. And he always wanted to know what the magic of Terry Funk's punches was. Then he wrestled Terry Funk. And he realized there was no magic. He was just hitting you in the face as hard as he could.
So that's
So
my
that's
only
what,
problem with either one right now is the close camera work. Like I think they're both
yeah.
great, but I think with AEW it works better because they have a lot more wrestlers that do the Greco-Roman style wrestling, the more technical style. Like you said, with Josh Alexander coming over, you have Gabe Kidd coming over. He's more of a power hitter, and you get people like who's the other great technical wrestler? Garcia, Danielson, stuff like that, who are really close. Shibata, really great close contact wrestlers that can pull off the moves and the holds. That can get away with a close camera angle like that, but then you get Osprey and all them
And
the
it
hard time.
and what it does, it hides the fact that they're in smaller arenas.
Right.
And honestly, in my opinion, them doing the smaller arenas, it looks so much better.
For
It
them,
like
yeah, I agree.
and the crowds have been into it. Like it looks good. This is where they should have started.
Yeah, I agree. Either way, I'm watching the change, enjoying one side grow, and realizing that WWE is indeed the show. And once you go there, it's kind of like, well, you don't
I mean, it's like
try as
everybody said,
hard anymore. I don't know.
WWE is the brand. They are
Right.
Band Aid. They are Kleenex. They're the brand. Anybody said nobody says wrestling. People are like, oh, you mean anytime you bring up, oh yeah, I'm really into wrestling. Oh, you mean WWE? That's what everybody knows.
Right.
So, but I mean, they're also a different type of their sports entertainment. They're a different um presentation in general than AEW or TNA or New Japan or anything like that. They are more story driven, like a soap opera, where the story exists outside of the ring and is being told in the ring. That's the other thing. Something that we had talked about before that AEW has been doing is they've done a lot less of the backstage brawls and the stupid stuff that always look crappy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're getting a lot more video packages, and the video packages look amazing. The one they did for Gabe Kidd, the one they're doing a lot more of that. They're introducing you to these wrestlers before they debut.
Although they could have picked a better name than the Ops, in my opinion, but
Yeah, that's trendy lingo. So
I know, but the Ops, I'm like, come on, dude.
they honestly, I don't think they need a name.
They
I,
don't.
I
They can
think
just come up and wreck people and walk out, and I think it's a great job.
I think factions names are stupid. I mean,
They're just made for
ev-
t-shirts. That's all.
yeah, it's marketing is what it is. I've never been. I mean, there are obviously a few, you know, um, out there that are beyond that. Obviously the NWO, DX, these things are, those factions make sense. The Shield, but like, I mean, faction names I don't think are necessary. The fact that they call what is Christians the
Oh, the legacy or the
patriarchy?
family patriarchy? Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Well,
Like it's
they might as well call it the pedophilia because that's
whoa,
all he's doing. He's collecting young kids by his side. He's trying to be Batman with
whoa, whoa, whoa. They're adults.
or the stepfather. That's what they should call it. I'm your stepdaddy.
I think he literally is because I believe he's dating what's called its mom.
Wouldn't
Uh,
wouldn't
um,
surprise me.
so but I mean, they're doing, but AEW is doing the things that I personally had, in my opinion, didn't like about them. They've gone about correcting, and some of the stuff I said, like I said, they're doing more video packages. They're letting you know who these wrestlers are. They're doing, they're using the smaller venues. They've they're they've definitely trimmed down the amount of behind the scenes fights and over the because anytime anybody was getting interviewed, it would turn into a stupid fight, and you'd get that like 6 times in one show. It's
I
like
mean,
why is this always happening?
it still happens on Collision, but that's Harley Cameron's fault.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, and I don't know if you've seen my Facebook lately, but Harley Cameron is awesome. I am
Oh yeah,
enjoying the
she
hell out of her character.
plain
Um,
and simple. Harley Cameron in AEW and Chelsea Green in the WWE are the two most entertaining characters in professional wrestling in years.
right. And
Years. They are taking character work, and Chelsea's a little bit better in the ring than Harley because Harley hasn't been doing it as long, but they add like it. They're not funny in the ring. They add a little bit of the comedy, but they'll wrestle. It's kind of like when back in the day in WCW when Norman Smiley was the
mhm,
hardcore champion. Norman, who Black Magic is one of the best technical wrestlers ever, but he brought in a hint of comedy to those matches, and then his character work was over the top, just so amazing. And
it's all
these
the same
girls
with
are both on that.
JYD, same with the beautiful blondes. And those, they get the little sachet, they get the little flamboyance. And I mean, the same thing is happening here with Harley and Chelsea Green. I mean, like I say, if you've seen my Facebook, I've got as my cover photo right now Harley and the Monet puppet just sitting there like,
Mini Monet.
because I thought that was fantastic. She saw an opportunity right there and grabbed it, and the
It's
cameraman was
amazing.
perfect. And um, I'm loving it, and the fact
Yeah,
that she's getting over the way that she wants to get over, and that's
yeah.
with her skill and talent, not just wrestling. Um,
The girl's worked her butt off. You know,
right.
the
She's
crazy
been
thing
there
is
for 3 years, busting her ass left and right. She's, you know,
if you hear her story, like she didn't even get into the business to actually be a wrestler. She
mm,
wanted to do. She started off with she studied journalism in school. She came in wanting to do backstage reporting and stuff.
and
Like
then
it
she
was,
met her
and
husband,
then
and
she
then
just really got into the wrestling. She fell in love with it, and she decided, you know what? I'd rather try and fail than not try.
right,
And she's killing it. Like I said, her and Chelsea, like they're neck and neck. They're two of the best characters I've seen in, honestly, probably since Norman Smiley. You know, they're both hilarious. They're both over the top, and then they get enough. Like, you know, Renee Paquette is when she interviews her, like she's enough of a straight man for it that it makes Harley look like a psycho, but
right.
like a psycho you just want to hug, you know. And Chelsea
No
on the other
motorboat.
TV,
I mean, let's be honest.
and Chelsea on the other TV, like she's got Piper with her, and Piper just seems like she's enabling her, and it's pretty awesome what both companies are doing. I think they're just allowing these girls to create and have fun, and I'm all for it. Like those are two of my favorite wrestlers. Period. Right now, I absolutely love anything they do. I mean, um, I think they've both actually surpassed R-Truth, which is hard to do because R-Truth has been hilarious for multiple years.
Hmm.
But they're uh, they're just they're doing amazing things, and I like it. You know, it's something, you know, it's a variety show, and there's something for everybody. If you enjoy comedy, now you have some comedy that's not going to make you feel dumb.
Right.
So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying, you know, what a lot of what AEW seems to try to be building the tag team scene now. They're really starting to work on it, which is one thing that I was very disappointed in. They should have the strongest tag team division in wrestling. You look at the teams they have, and now you have, you know, with the Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate as a tag team champions. It looks like they're working to shore it up, to make it more of an actual tag team division. I love what they're doing with the Outrunners. I'm really liking what they're doing with what are they called? The Murder Monsters, or
I'm actually
the Murder
anxious.
Machine.
Murder
Murder Machine.
Machine.
Murder
Yeah,
Machine.
I'm actually anxious to see that match. Hurt Syndicate, Murder Machine.
You know,
Yeah.
I would like to. I'm hoping they make it a triple threat. I'd love to see the Hurt Syndicate, Murder Machine, and the Outrunners. Honestly, the Outrunners should have been the tag team champions when they were hot. Like they should have. That's who the Bucks should have dropped the tag team titles to. Speaking of people that are doing amazing character work, when they came, when they teamed with, was it with Bandito? Did you see him on
Yeah.
Collision
Yes.
with the
Yes.
mask?
Yes. Yes.
We're called Los Outrunners. Oh my
Yes.
goodness,
That was awesome. Um, I
they
know
yeah, they're amazing.
there was a meme lately that came out around TikTok or something that I saw that just embodied how I felt about Tony Storm, and that was this girl went from taking pies in the face and being an embarrassment on WWE to having the best damn women's storyline ever over on AEW. And I was like, yeah, huh, she did.
This
And
story that they're doing with her and Mariah May, man, this last week it went up a notch.
right when
Like
she brought her on
like
stage,
Mariah snapped. Like, and it's, oh wow. And if you've seen Mariah when she was in Stardom, Mariah can do some brutal stuff. And like Tony's been on. Tony's been, you know, once again a great character wrestler, but more than her character, I mean, she's one of the best technicians in the ring. And
mhm,
Mariah has been slowly getting used to the AEW product, and I think she's arrived. What I saw last week, I was floored. I was absolutely floored by her snapping. Like she legitimately, it legitimately looked like she snapped.
I am very excited for all of that, and I'm loving the storyline. And God bless Tony Storm, man.
Oh yeah,
Can't believe it. She went through all those changes and stuff, and finally found her groove, and is now
yeah,
nailing it. And I love it for her.
yeah.
It's a
She's
shame
doing
she married
amazing.
Chris
And
Robinson,
that's
but
another thing. I mean, they're really starting to bring some predominance, some notoriety to the women's division. They're giving the women a little bit more time. I'd like to see more of the women get some time, so we don't have the problems like you said. A lot of that comes down to timing, which comes down to ring time. If they're not getting the time in the ring to keep crisp, then mistakes will be made. But we're seeing a lot more women's matches coming up. Supposedly, Sky Blue has been cleared to return. Supposedly, Luchasaurus has been cleared to return. So I'm curious to see what is going to happen with those
and
two.
they're working on a third show and a third title to have because they got to have their own max title.
Yeah,
So they're working on that too. So hopefully, with the third show, there'll be more time to show everybody
they
else
need
that
to get rid of all those damn titles.
really they defended the 3-man title this week.
The
And I
six
think that's
man,
the
yeah,
first 6-man, and it was the first time we had seen those titles being defended in how long? Like
yeah,
almost a
and
year,
then Pac was eliminated for a while. So
right?
so we won't see him. We won't see him defended again.
So yeah, they need to
They
fix it.
need to get rid of the six man titles because, like I said, they're barely starting to build their tag team division.
And they
And
split apart. They split one of the best tag teams in the world, and that's because one of them's out. I think he's in a movie or something with the Acclaimed. And what
I
they
think he is in
turned,
a movie.
yeah.
I think Bones is in a movie.
So what Caster's doing now is getting jobbed out everywhere, and it's a shame because they were a great tag team.
What I'm curious to see what they're trying to build with his character and seeing if this actually goes anywhere. But yeah, they were probably the best tag team, and they were completely misused. Right
It was
now,
so over,
I mean,
like
they
way
should have,
over.
yeah, and they should have took advantage of it. And it's horrible that they did that. Now, granted, both of them are solid wrestlers, and I think can have really good careers by themselves,
Mhm.
but they're much more valuable as a tag team. We're starting to see some good work out of the Kingdom. We're Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly together are awesome. They're awesome in NXT when Bobby Fish was out. They're an awesome tag team. I'd love to see them go further with that tag team. You have what's called it. I don't know if they're bringing I don't even know. They used to be 2.0. I don't even know what they call Menard and
Yeah, I don't.
Parker.
I They should
I
just
don't even
call
know
them
what they call them,
3.0.
but they're a solid tag team. I mean, obviously, Parker was out because of his Ruby delivering their child. He took time off, and then Matt Menard had some injuries and is amazing on the commentary desk. He
Mhm.
is amazing. I really enjoy him on the commentary desk, but I love them as a tag team. Um, I'd like to see more from them. I'd like to see them return to help build this tag team division. We there's a lot of potential out there with these tag teams.
We saw Orange Cassidy come back this week, um, and rumors of Trent, what's his name, also coming back soon.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, like he's been cleared, so he'll be back soon. Whether he ends up, he was supposed to be the random dude that was going to show up on with I can't remember his name.
Don
Scar,
Callis?
thank you, Callus's group. Um, but he got re-injured or something. He didn't get fully cleared. So
Well, I
you
mean,
know how
it
they
makes
keep
more
talking
sense.
about there's one other guy, there's one other hidden member of our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they brought out God, I can never remember that guy's name. Kyle O'Reilly.
Matt, Mark, Mark something,
Yeah.
double
Um,
butt.
I really he's a solid wrestler though. I mean, as a tag team were awesome. Um, but obviously, why can't I remember his name right now? What is his
See,
name?
it's not just me. Old age gets both of us, Richard.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
part of
Anyway.
AE or EA, United Empire.
Yeah. I can't remember.
We're
Um.
gonna have to look him up, huh?
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. My mind is slipping.
Yeah, mine is too. Forgive us, everybody. We've got to look this up
Kyle
because it's
Fletcher. That's his name. Too many Kyles. There's too many Kyles and too many Adams in AEW. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis as United Empire were an awesome tag team, but obviously you're not going to put them back together because Kyle Fletcher is probably one of the top 5 hottest heels in AEW right now. Um,
and him and
so
SK have a great team going, as well as the whole.
yeah,
One of both of them are going to end up being the top man at some point.
yes, absolutely. What they got going on with Takeshita, like there's some. I mean, honestly, I like this version of the Don Callis family.
I don't mind
Um,
it. Yeah,
and the thing about it is Don Callis isn't really appreciated because he's actually very good on the mic, and Callis is he's meant to be irritating. He's meant to be hated. He's meant to be like nails on the chalkboard, and he's so good at that. He's always been good at that, and because it's so easy to hate him, it makes it harder. Like there's no valid reason to dislike um, Fletcher or Takeshita. You know, like they're so good they would get over as baby faces too quick if it wasn't for the fact that Don Callis makes them so hateable.
mm-hmm.
And I really like this version of the Don Callis family. Um, like I said, I'm really liking what they're doing with the murder machines. You have Takeshita and Fletcher teaming up here and there, and then like they're both just coming into their own. So there's a lot of potential there too. I mean, they're slowly starting to build something in AEW that's and there's a lot of people out there that are haters, and that's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It is what it is. But they're getting a little bit more story driven. They're putting like it's not just matches for the. You still got a lot of matches for the sake of matches, but there's more. We're getting more actual reasons for some of the matches at least.
Right.
So, um, and we're starting to get something out of Taya Valkyrie and Deanna Perrazzo,
Can we
which
talk about what the was that with Thunder Rosa and what's her face and oh my
yeah,
god,
Megan Byrne. Now a lot of people are saying Megan went into
business for herself.
the business for herself. I don't agree. I think what happened was Thunder Rosa came in a little too close, and she was supposed. I think she brought the chair back too far, as opposed to it was supposed to be one of those where she like fakes it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what happened was Penelope forgot to sell scared because Penelope was supposed to be in front of Megan, and she should have said, and Megan was meant to look strong, and like Penelope was holding her back. At least that's my opinion. And I think Thunder Rosa just brought the chair too far back. At that point, though, you own the mistake and you swing it. But it's
Don't
also
sit in the
dangerous.
ring and go,
It's also dangerous if you don't know it's coming. So I mean, but you know what? Truthfully, for as much of a big deal as everybody's making about it, it was inconsequential to the story and it was inconsequential to the match. It was just a
and
mistake.
would have been fine. But the problem is, excuse me, they kept using it in promo reels. They were
I
showing it in
haven't
promo reels,
I
and
haven't seen
then
it used in anything. I just see people reposting it all the time and talking crap about it. But I mean,
well, this Saturday on Collision, they showed it again, and then they tried to show an after scene with Rosa and somebody else there talking. Whoever wanted
Statlander,
to, yeah, her and Statlander were sitting there talking, and she's like, "Next time, just take the swing." Like, yeah,
yeah,
next time I'm gonna take the swing. That was even worse. you know?
yeah. But I mean,
Don't
you
explain
know,
it. Move on. Just go.
what once again, man who lives in glass house. It happens. Mistakes happen. You know, she drew the chair too far back. I think it was supposed to be one of those feign that people do with the chairs all the time,
Right.
especially since the fact that she's a baby face, and the baby face shouldn't go around hitting the heels with the chair when they're not actively beating on somebody. However, I do have this idea of what I've always wanted to, and this goes back to us rambling. By the way, we're over an
Right.
hour now.
Right. Remember when we were gonna stop the show 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, right.
We even said
I was
goodbye.
thinking. So
Even I.
I was thinking if I ran my own wrestling organization, what what would be cool,
RWO.
right? What would be something, some of the little tropes, some of the things that are just commonplace in professional wrestling that I would like to see go away. And one of the things that I saw was when they brought hologram back, and you had Roosh and Martos and
LFI.
yeah, when they were in the ring and they were beating up Commander. The one thing I hate is the bad guys stop beating somebody up and turn to watch the video screen. I think what I would really love to do is like the bad guys are beating up, you know, the heels are beating up the baby face. The screen comes on to reintroduce the guy. They continue to beat the crap out of the guy, and when the guy finally gets out of the back, the guys just bail. Before
Mhm.
he actually, even before the video ends, they just bail after they beat the crap out of him. Like continue to beat the crap out of him and bail before the guy even gets a chance to get out. Just
Or
because it would show how stupid it is.
or look up at the video and go, oh, take the guy, take him somewhere else and beat his ass somewhere else. Let the hero come
Or
out to an empty ring.
send like when there's three of you, send one guy on because he can't see it, he's backstage. So send one guy on each side of the ramp. So when he comes down the ramp, they jump him from both sides.
Right.
Just like I
Okay.
said, because it's I mean, obviously it's a trope that's in professional wrestling, just like guys doing the old I've always hated when someone gets hit and they do the swimming cell, waiting for a guy to jump off the ropes. I hate that.
Yeah.
You know, drop to one knee, like hold your like there's other ways to sell it other than, you know, making it obvious you're catching the guy. That's why I always loved it when Joe would walk away.
Right.
Like there's those tropes because it is ridiculous. And obviously it's for safety reasons, but I would find a way to make fun of that just because like it's kind of ridiculous now. You know, guys being outside and putting their arms around each other, waiting for somebody to jump on them, like,
Or the guys scooting down on the mat to get closer so the guy can
yep,
land on him. You know,
repositioning, yeah,
or them having a conversation while they're up on the top rope. If somebody's climbing up if they don't come up on me on the top rope, like Kurt Angle or Shelton Benjamin, and I'm sorry, I can feel you walking up that rope, and I'm going to do something to stop you.
yeah,
I don't care how lackadaisical you are. You know?
yeah. I mean,
That's why I always respected Shelton Benjamin and
the
Kurt Angle the way
leaping
they
up there,
leaped up there. I thought that was awesome.
yeah, but like that's the thing is it's so overdone. Like you're getting a couple of hammers to the back, like, and that's supposed to keep you down. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Two guys standing on the top rope just to have a bigger move is stupid. Why can't the guy sit on the top rope and the other guy be a, you know, take you over from the middle rope? That makes more sense than both of them climbing to the top rope, having to get their balance before they do a move.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of things like that that I would make go away. And when you do it, it should happen maybe every once in a while, a big move, you know, like put some importance behind it.
I miss themed wrestling pay-per-views. Like I wouldn't mind like a like a tag team apocalypse wrestling pay-per-view where all the different tag teams are in like a round robin tournament, and whoever
Yeah.
survives at the end of the pay-per-view, that's the tag team champion for the day. Or the women's themed tag team one that we had before,
Well, yeah, I mean,
or
like
something
WCW
like
did that.
that.
What was it? Future Shock, where it was like a tournament, and whoever got
Right,
the most points at the end won.
right.
They're winning
Or
some fictional money or something.
the same with the WCW. That they had that big cage, tiered cage thing that they all had to climb up, and yeah, but stuff like that. Like I think that would be cool,
The,
especially tournament stage, because tournaments
the
are
one
where
that I really
AEW
like,
shine.
or it was a good idea. I don't think it was ever executed right in WCW. Was the Battle Bowl, and what the Battle Bowl was a tag team tournament, but the tag teams were put together randomly. Like there would draw names to put
Hmm.
like, oh well, so and so is tagging with this person, and this person's tagging, and it would just be random draws. And then the team that won at the end, like whoever won this tournament, they would face each other, and whoever won that singles match would be the Battle Bowl champion. Like
Right.
something like that. Like I just think the WCW never executed it right, but it had so much potential.
Or that mixed tag team champion tournament
Yeah,
that
the
they
mix.
had.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like stuff like that, just because you get tired of the same stuff over and over again.
Right. And
I mean,
WWE did
wrestling.
a great job for a while with the whole, what was it, the underground wrestling thing, and then the speed
Yeah,
wrestling thing that they're doing, and all their stuff that they're trying to use to spice it up. And
I mean, wrestling for stakes is very important. That's what drives the company. That's what brings new viewers in. But every now and then, it's like I've always said, where's the barbecued episode of Sons of Anarchy? Where's it where we just get wrestling for the sake of wrestling? Now, unfortunately, AEW did that forever, where it was just wrestling for the sake of wrestling, and that became a trope there.
right,
But when you're doing stakes wrestling all the time, and then once a year or maybe once every 6 months you get something that's like a breath, just a breather, it's kind of cool.
a round robin type thing or something
Yeah,
in
and
there.
even and when you do something like that, you can give your big names a break. You don't have to have the world champion, the number one contender in there. Maybe they could do commentary or do something else on the show, but they
And
don't
not
have
everything
to be
has
in those matches.
and not everything has to be a Royal Rumble or a death
Yeah,
match.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, like, I love a good death match. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing some blood and some good throwing
It's
on the floor.
it's overdone.
Sometimes, but all it is an enhanced stunt qualifying match at that point. For
Yeah,
me, I'd
it's
rather see
overdone.
a good wrestling skills match. You
Well,
know,
the thing is, a good death match is great, and we haven't had one of those in years.
right? Um,
Um,
no
and,
matter what
and,
Chris Jericho tells you, you know.
and
I'm got please, Chris Jericho, don't fight Bandito anymore. I can't stand to see that match anymore. 'Cause you two are just too tired to help each other out, and you exhaust each other by the end of the match. um,
Jericho needs to go away for a little while. I
he needs
love
to
Chris
get on the
Jericho.
cruise.
I think Jericho is great for wrestling. I love Chris Jericho, but we've been getting a little bit too much Chris Jericho for a little bit too long. The best thing about Jericho is he used to um, be on TV and do everything for a long period of time, and then he would go on tour with his band, and then he'd be gone for a while, and he'd come back and you appreciate him all over again. And now
Right.
we're just getting too much Jericho, in my opinion, mind you, and it's oversat. I mean, you got crowds chanting, "Please retire." Now that's solid heat. I get it, but it's also people telling you they're kind of tired of seeing him.
If he's gonna do all this stuff for wrestling, then fine, go for wrestling. Do what MVP is doing. He still wrestles on occasion, but for
Yeah,
the most part, he's out there pimping out his people and supporting his people. And
yeah. I
still
mean, he should be.
he's
He
still in
should
good
be.
enough shape to where he can still threaten people and it be believable.
He
And the
should
same thing
be
can do with Jericho.
Jericho. Number one, Jericho shouldn't be a champion right now. The Ring of Honor titles should be on younger guys. Like
Right.
Brian Keith should be like the Ring of Honor champion, or like Daniel Garcia, one of these younger guys. should be the Ring of Honor champion. The Ring of Honor titles need to be on younger people. Even as much as I love Athena as the women's Ring of Honor women's champion, she shouldn't be, because she's a stark veteran. Like, she's somewhere, like, it should be someone else. There's solid women in Ring of Honor. Hell, Billy Stark should be the women's champion over there right now.
Right.
There's
Well, maybe
a
there's
lot.
something to do instead of jobbing out all the time.
Yeah, they need to, like, it should be, like I said, Ring of Honor, once again, the way I would do it, the way I would see it, should be like a developmental system. It should be there to help people get their timing right, and it shouldn't have these older people. Those people need to be in AEW, making the TV product better, and get some of these younger people off TV that need to train and have the time, and have them on the streaming service for Ring of Honor.
I agree. And then let
I
Ring
mean,
of Honor have some dark matches sometimes
yeah,
uh, on their streaming program that we can optionally watch as well. To see these up and comers before they get to the big name. So they can know who we can support and where they're going to.
yeah. One thing I'm really excited about that WWE is doing is now they're debuting that Evolved show on Tubi, which is going to be, so it's basically a pre-developmental show. So these people they have signed to the what is it, the ID and stuff like that,
Mhm.
these independent wrestlers. It's basically a show for them to wrestle in front of crowds, in front of cameras, but they're not under the WWE banner. So they're not. It's not like it's to basically to get them ready to move on to the performance center. So it's people that are super early in their career, and we'd get to see people at the youngest stage of their career, and it gives them solid. I mean, performing in front of crowds and performing in front of cameras, it's different wrestling. Wrestling for television and wrestling for a live crowd are two completely different things.
Right.
So I'm
Have you
excited
seen
to
the
see how they
LFG
do
stuff
that.
yet?
What's that?
Have you seen the LFG stuff yet? Have you started
Oh,
watching
I,
that?
I have no interest in that. I can't stand reality television, and yeah, I have no interest in it.
I
I
haven't either.
can't do it.
I already went through the army and basic training, and I'm kind of tired of watching shows like that anymore.
Yeah, I can't. For as much as, like, they'll build it up and they're talking about this guy and that guy, like, and even like the Undertaker and Bully have talked about it on the podcasts, and I don't care. I don't. I'd rather see people train. I don't want to see people train. I know what training is. I'd rather see them work in the ring.
Hmm.
So, I mean, and that's what this is. This is more focused on actual training, on actual ring work and stuff like that, as opposed to a like elimination show or something like that, like
Popularity
Tough Enough
contest.
was. But it's just something that's not for me. I'm sure people are enjoying it, but it's just not something that interests me personally.
Remember, everybody, we got Velveteen Dream last time.
You know what? Velvet
He was
Tree
a great
Dream, like,
wrestler, but
an amazing wrestler, just a horrible human being, apparently.
right.
And someone that I honestly think may be bipolar, honestly. For his outbursts and stuff like that, that guy may have some severe mental issues. But man, when he was at his best, he was really, really good. You cannot deny how talented that kid was.
I never will.
But
But
yes,
he's just not
definitely not a good human being.
right. He can't get right. And with that, we are finally done with this episode. Whether we want to be or not.
Well,
It's not,
we'll have a pay-per-view to talk about next weekend or next
we
week.
do.
2, 1.
And
I think
possible
it's just 1.
movies. There's
Huh?
some cool movies coming out this week too, so we might have more stuff to talk
There
about after
are.
that.
There's one there. I want to see that Woody Harrelson. I actually want to see a Woody Harrelson movie, which is weird.
Right.
I really want to
Um,
see that one. I still want to see Hard Eyes.
so check back in on the next episode of the panel cast. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
have
we'll
some of
we'll
those.
babble on for no reason too.
Right. If not, then we'll just sit here and play with our beards. Uh,
I cut
and
mine.
so,
I trimmed.
um,
I trimmed all this off.
I trimmed a lot off for Harry Potter, but it's grown back.
Were you
So
trying to hit on Harry Potter or what?
I I wanted to be in Harry Potter,
Oh, okay.
so I got the tattoo, the Dark Mark, baby. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the PanelCast. Later.